we have a lot of guys that are, nicked up, missing a day's practice here, a day's practice there, black jersey for a couple days. But the only guy, Najee Harris, who has a cast on his foot because he has a minor foot injury that, our medical staff here felt like, totally staying off of it for a week would be very, very helpful. When he comes out of that, we'll start rehab. He'll be day to day. But this is not a long-term issue that we think is going to be a significant problem for him, even to be ready for the first game.
Coach, we'll start over here on right then.
We're happy to see you again as well, Coach.
I doubt it.
New kicker and new punter this fall, obviously. What kind of progress have you seen from those guys in camp?
Well, we've got really good competition in the kicking game, which I think is very good, and both guys have done very, very well. It's a very close competition. I think the combination of those two guys could be very effective for us in some way, shape, or form. We haven't decided that yet. Skylar has been more consistent, but that's also the challenge that we have for him to continue and get more and more consistency. When he hits the ball, he hits it fantastic. And most of it, with most punters, it's confidence in the drop, and that's what we're really working on with him. But his operation time and all that has been really, really good. We just got to get him a little more consistent in direction kicking and putting the ball where we'd like for it to be.
I just wonder how much input did you have in the planning of the renovation of Bryant? Did you have any details you had any input in?
Not really. I think it goes the other way a little more. We have a lot of good people here. We hire a lot of good people who can give us a lot of good information about how to fix issues and problems. And I think those people do the research, they do the planning, then they come and ask me, do I think that's a good thing, bad thing? Is there something else we could do better? And I've never been one to, I draw stuff on a piece of paper and then you all figure it out. I drew our lake house on a napkin. We didn't have an architect, we didn't have any of that, and got built it, it came out pretty good. So same thing with this building. I just said, hey, when we renovated this building, make the weight room, the meeting rooms, and a player lounge, build a new weight room. That's like building a barn. Tie these two buildings together so we don't have to go outside to get in the indoor. And then you all go figure it out. And they did a good job of that. And the only part of that we didn't really address was we didn't do a lot to the locker room and we didn't do a lot to the training room. All right, so we're going to redo those two things here as a part of this whole plan. But I think that we have a stadium that was probably a structure that was to accommodate about 45,000 people, and now we have 100,000 people. So I don't spend any time in the concourses during the game, but what I get told is it's pretty crowded and we need some significant improvements to be made. So I'm taking their word for it on that. So maybe you can tell me more about that, because I've never been in a concourse, so I wouldn't know. But I think that it's important that we continue to be aggressive in terms of how we make improvements. I think we have fantastic facilities. I think our leadership here has done a great job of reinvesting back into the players, and the future of the program. And I think this is a real strong message that we want to continue to do that.
Coach, I'm curious how much that napkin ended up costing you.
About twice as much as I thought. But I've kind of grown, when Miss Terry gets involved, if we can do it for twice as much, I feel like it's a bargain. Because she has some very interesting ways to calculate. If you give her a budget and she actually saves, like get something on sale, that savings doesn't get passed along to me. It gets added to the budget. So it's like, I did you a favor, so I'm adding this on to buy something else. So she's pretty expert in her techniques of how to get the most.
And football wise, what do you look for in a second scrimmage, and what's the difference in that and the first scrimmage?
Well, I think the thing that I mentioned is make it more game-like. Let the players play. I mean, we need to go out there and see. We got a lot of young guys, especially on defense. We got to see who's got the maturity to be able to go out there and execute and do things when, nobody's telling them what to do. I think we have a lot of players on our team that have been in game situations before and been effective and have experience. And I think that it's important for those guys to do it only because it gets them ready to play the first game. It's a part of the preparation. It's a part of the process. But for a lot of younger guys, it's a big step to what do I have to be able to do and understand what it takes to be able to play on a consistent basis. And I think that's the most important thing that we get out of this. And we're always evaluating, what kind of football player. Has the guy got toughness? Has he got mental toughness? When does he give in? How many mental errors does he make? Can he be responsible and do his job out there on a consistent basis? Will the guy give effort? Will he finish plays? What's football mean to him? And then what's it take for him to break? When does he just can't go anymore? All these things are more mindset and mental than they are physical. And that's where the opportunity that being in the circumstance we're in right now, goes a long way to show which players can and can't do that. So, we're evaluating lots of different positions, and in some cases it's for backup players, in some cases it's still for who should start.
Still here with Charlie.
Going back to special teams, what have you seen from the guys that are competing in the return game so far, Cam?
Oh, we're good. I've been very, very pleased. I think Jeff Bank has been a great addition for us in terms of knowledge and experience and coaching the players, and the players have responded really well to him. I think we have more experienced guys in those positions, so I'm hopeful that that's going to be a real asset for our team.
How has the secondary kind of collectively progressed, and is there somebody who's emerging or has emerged as a alpha back there?
Well, we got a lot of work to do there. I mean, we got to continue to work, and there's a lot of plays on defense where 10 guys do what they're supposed to do and one guy doesn't, and that creates a breakdown. And I think that's not just in the secondary. I think that's all the way around the town. So, it's a real work in progress to me. I think that, probably the two guys that have played with the most consistency out there is, Trayvon Diggs and Xavier McKinney. Those two guys have been pretty consistent all along. Everybody else has been a little up and down, and to me, everybody else's position is, still there's competition in all the rest of the positions, and how we fit the guys around those two guys still remains to be determined.
Two more quick ones, Cody, then Alex.
On the offensive line, we've seen some shift between Alex Leatherwood and Jedrick Wells. What are you looking for in that shift, and or is that just one of the experimental things you've been doing?
Just an experimental thing that we do, and one of the things you need to do in camp is, okay, every day is important. Today's important, the next play is important, tomorrow's important, but what happens in October and November is important too. So if you're going to build diversity in your players, you almost have to do it now. If a guy's going to be able to go, somebody goes down and you want to move a guy to guard, play another guy at tackle, get the best 5 guys out there on the field however you can, you got to do it now. So guys have got, and we have to know now whether they can do it, if that makes any sense. All right, so sometimes we move guys around, so let's just say we lose a player, what do we do next? And then sometimes you find out that certain combinations are a little better than others. We haven't made that determination in the offensive line as of yet. So I think that you answered your own question when you said it's just an experiment.
Finish up right here.
One scrimmage left.
Can I ask a question? Why does he always get the last question? Is there a technique involved in this, or Just like singing a fight song at the end of the game, or I mean, okay.
With the one scrimmage left, what do you kind of want to see from Jalen and Tua that would maybe make your job easier, your decision easier in the next few weeks?
Well, I don't expect it to be an easy decision. You know, we have two guys that are great competitors and both really good players. They both had, you know, good fall camps. So I don't expect it to be easy. I want them to continue to compete and work hard and do well. And our coaches are working hard to help each one of those guys be the best player that they can be, and we're going to continue to do that. And like I said before, if both guys can contribute to our team, we'll certainly utilize that the best way we can. Thank you.